So then that's why you see all these people and they're running 1,200 calorie a day diets and they can't lose a single bit of fat. And if they eat anything, they gain fat. A calorie is not a calorie and a macro is not a macro. Even like a carb is not a carb. Sugar versus like slow digestion, we need to take it all into account. That's when if it fits your macros comes into play. I don't do if it fits your macros every day, but if I want a flex meal, if it fits your macros is how I flex. Because like every day is going to be a little bit different. Your weekends are different than your weekdays, and you should have a weekday strategy and a weekend strategy. People do the same thing for years and they wonder why they're plateaued.
Hey everyone, today we're joined by Curtis Laughren. He's the creator of the Lean Gainer Body Transformation Program. He's also one of my mentors and he gets most of the credit when it comes to leveling up my fitness into a national level weightlifter. He's also aging like fine wine and he looks better than a lot of people half his age. The man knows his stuff. So today we're gonna do a deep dive about how he's seemingly defying time. So if you're in your 30s, 40s, or even 50s, you need to pay attention to what this man has to say. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. It really helps support my channel. All right, let's get into it. Curtis Laughren in the house. What's going on?
What's up, man? No, I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you for making the time to take this call. Curtis, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, over the year, like I've been coaching since 2005.
Wow.
I went down like the strength route where I was coaching like CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting for many, many years. And then I was pretty much sick of that at the end of 2019. I had a gym for 7 years at that point, and then I sold it and I went straight body transformation, applying the same knowledge I had towards getting girls ready to go on the platform and be super strong and ripped to actually getting people shredded. And then COVID happened and it was like perfect timing because I've been online coaching since that started and just absolutely changing lives more now than ever in my career.
That's incredible. Yeah. 2005, Curtis, you've been around the block, if you will. So you have a ton of experience for our audience watching this and listening to this right now on our podcast. In a world where there's more information than ever, why is it so hard? Why is it so confusing to lose weight? Where is the disconnect here?
Honestly, like I get people all the time and they've tried fad diet after fad diet or this thing, and they all work. Like everything out there, all information is good information because it creates fat loss. But over time, the biggest issue people have is that they've been running calorie deficits for far, far, far too long. And when you do that, your body's natural reaction is to slow down thyroid hormone. So then that's why you see all these people and they're running 1,200 calorie a day diets and they can't lose a single bit of fat. And if they eat anything, they gain fat. They say, oh, go straight to my ass. It's because you've been running so low and hormonally, you're so like, you're in a hormonal deficit now, not a calorie deficit, and they can't lose weight. So we got to actually get their metabolism going again. And that's the hardest thing for people is to grasp that like your 1,200 calorie a day diet is the problem. And you need to be at 17, 18, or 19. And some people just can't fathom what that would be like.
Totally. I'm glad that you brought up that whole issue of calories, cutting calories, and then your hormones just goes down the drain, for lack of a better term. Where does it factor in though, in the grand scheme of things? I'm talking about calories, the quality of your food, tracking macros. What's your take on that?
Well, just so much bullshit out there, right? You know what I mean? Like a calorie is a calorie. I'm like hell no, a calorie is not a calorie for one, right? We've got macros, proteins, carbs, and fats. And if we eat different ratios of those, we're going to get different hormonal balances inside our body, and we're going to get a different physiological response. If you have sugar, you're going to spike your insulin and you're going to be in a storage state. You're never going to be in like a fat loss state. And if you do it over and over, keep spiking that insulin, your cells get used to it and you get type 2 diabetes. But ultimately, a calorie is not a calorie and a macro is not a macro. Even like a carb is not a carb. Sugar versus like slow digestion, we need to take it all into account. And sugar is not necessarily bad for you, but it's only good for you right after your workout when your muscles and liver are depleted. So it's going to spike your storage response, and that's what we want to do.
Absolutely. I love that,
Yeah.
you kind of broke it down there in terms of being able to get away with a lot of things if you time it properly. And in fact, actually use that to leverage your recovery. I'm talking about carbs and, that glucose response that we're looking for. So Curtis, what's a common diet and exercise trap that you see a lot of people make? Let's start with diet.
Biggest common diet trap that people are making is they fall into like a category of one. They're married to one thing rather than trying to use all the fad diets as tools for different days. For example, there's gonna be days you want to go out, you might want to have some alcohol, you want to be indulging in some food, and maybe like a good intermittent fast on that day is the best thing for you. But like intermittent fasting is not going to be the most ideal thing for like muscle growth over time. Like you want to be applying some more knowledge and more fad diets across the whole spectrum than just being married to one. Like there's a lot of science in them all, and they're useful in multiple categories.
I love that you mentioned intermittent fasting as a tool. I think a lot of people, we've kind of gone to the extreme with dieting these days that it's almost become a religion. Do you know what I mean? And with that comes a lot of the dogma that comes with it. It's like, if you don't identify with us, then you're against us, and that's where the whole diet wars start. So I love that you mentioned that, you can use multiple diets as a tool, depending on where you're at with your journey.
100% you should be, because like every day is going to be a little bit different. Your weekends are different than your weekdays, and you should have a weekday strategy and a weekend strategy.
Totally.
It's just the way it is. Yeah,
absolutely. And flexibility is so key to success, long-term success, especially.
Absolutely. Because like I always tell people that, we're not striving for perfection. We're striving for consistency. I've fallen off my diet every single week for 20 years. I've just consistently got back on and used some science in my methodology and getting back on. So it's not really that I'm off. I'm just consistently doing different things or attacking each day differently.
I love it. I've always said that consistency trumps everything. It's basically the cheat code to life.
Right. In everything. Like we're not talking just food, exercise, your finances, your relationships, everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. What about in terms of exercise? What's a common trap that you see a lot of people make? You see somebody doing something and you're like, why are you doing that?
Honestly, like people run the same phase for far, far too long. And I see it a lot with all these like micro gyms and classes that people do, where they hop in and they go super high intensity right away. They get some killer results. But if you look at the grand spectrum of people doing these classes like CrossFit or spin or everything, they got results for the first 6 weeks, fell in love with the program, and kept doing it with no results for the next couple of years. And you need to change up your phases. We always say like you need to be shocking your body or whatever. You just need different stimulus because your body adapts. So my goal with my people is to get them as much results with as little work as possible, because they're going to adapt within 6 weeks. And after 6 weeks, we can increase their work. So we start maybe on a strength phase and then into like a hypertrophy phase and then into a high intensity phase. And then you can repeat that. When you repeat that, your strength phase becomes heavier, and they're constantly adapting and always changing because you're switching it up every 6 weeks. People do the same thing for years and they wonder why they're plateaued.
So true. Seasons, right? There needs to be seasons. We have 4 seasons in Canada. You need to have seasons when it comes to your training.
Absolutely. Yeah, you need to run lean in the summer, and you can gain your strength and some size in the winter. That's what we've got.
Bulking season, baby. Curtis, you're in your 40s and you seem to be aging like fine wine. It seems like age is just a number to you. You're just leveling up at this point.
Every year gets better, bro.
I love it. What's your dietary pattern looking like these days? What's a typical eating day for you?
So my eating hasn't changed much over the years. And I think about this, I have always focused on my micronutrients as well as my macronutrients. So actually like having vitamins and minerals inside my diet. I'm a big carb guy, and I don't overdo it with carbs. There are different times of the year that I might have more. Like right now I'm having a little bit more. But typically my breakfast, I like to have 4 eggs. Okay, so that's 4 egg whites and 2 yolks in there. I like to have toast and some butter. I typically finish that up with my greens and my phytoberry, and make sure I've got like some nutrition value going in there. I take my liver supplements with my breakfast and cordyceps. Okay, because without my cordyceps, I'm just not as high functioning inside my brain. I feel it. I'm about an hour after that, 2 hours after that, and I'm pounding a 400-calorie protein shake. And then I'm in the gym and I wear it all off. I don't stop in the gym until I'm like elbows on a bench, completely. I've hit the wall and I know my muscles and liver are depleted. And then I go back into another 400-calorie protein shake. I get a good hearty breakfast, like a steak, rice, vegetables, and bedtime is always yogurt, berries, and some honey.
I love it. I love it. Guys, that is pretty accurate how Curtis describes his training days at the gym. I have been in the trenches with him. We were training together for a good 7 years there. And I don't see a lot of people that works as hard as one Curtis Laughren over here. So the results speaks for itself. So
that's the fountain of youth right there. Training hard, eating right, fountain of youth, 100%.
I love it. Is there a certain food or supplement that you're really excited about these days? You mentioned a couple of things there, liver and something else. Talk to me about those.
You're carnivore, right? Like you're a meat eater. So you understand the nutrient value of liver. Okay. So I've been doing liver supplements for quite a while now, just because I can't buy enough liver to eat liver often enough. And to be honest, like a couple liver meals, it tastes like shit, man.
It's but so true.
But liver is just so nutrient dense. You want to get some vitamins in you. It is like the best way to do it. So I do freeze dried liver. I OD on it. Like I'm supposed to take 2. I take 3 this morning. I was like, it 4. Do you know what I mean? And I do that 3 meals a day. Okay. Like my micronutrients are through the roof. And if you don't know about cordyceps are going to help you with your cognitive function. Okay. Like Joe Rogan's always talking about like alpha brain and stuff, which is super high priced, way overpriced. It's cordyceps. You can get them at a cheaper price. And again, I do cordyceps every single day. And I do my cordyceps. I have the same advantage when I'm in the coffee shop and I'm just plugging away at programming for hours and hours and hours. Without them, I'm fumbling on my phone. I'm tempted to look at social media and I'm tempted to do all kinds of other distractive stuff. But with my cordyceps, man, I'm just like a plug away. I don't know if there might be some placebo effect in there. I don't care. I'm high functioning.
I love that you mentioned, I want to go back to liver and how important it is to make sure that you're always eating and taking supplements that are the most bioavailable for the human body.
100%.
Right? Because not all food are created equal. Not all protein are created equal. Plant protein and animal protein are not the same.
Absolutely not.
Guys, I've mentioned many times in my other videos that grass-fed and grass-finished beef liver is the most nutrient-dense food on the planet. It's the superfood of all superfoods. Everything else is garbage compared to beef liver. The problem is, liver is an acquired taste. The good news is you can now take it as a freeze-dried and powdered pill supplement. My go-to company for this is Higher Health's. Just look at all the bioavailable vitamins and minerals in one serving. If you were to just take one supplement that covers all the bases, this is it. Most supplements on the market are a waste of money. You might as well let your money on fire. This is the only supplement I'd recommend. If you're interested, just click on the link in the description below to check it out. Curtis, how do you feel about cheat meals, if you will? And is there a way to incorporate them into your diet, into your routine, and still get results?
I never cheat on my diet. I flex on my diet. It's flexible dieting. And
talk to me about that.
If you understand your macronutrients, you understand your daily physical needs, where you know what carbs you need per the day, you need what protein you need and what fats you're going to have based. And so your carbs and your fats are both energy macros. So you can have one or the other depending on how active you're going to be. If you want to be swinging a sledgehammer all day, eat more carbs. If you're working behind a computer all day, eat more fats. Okay. I get my caloric level balanced with my needs for the day. And I just do the math. Like if I remember I was walking Playa del Carmen one night and this lady walked by me with some Krispy Kreme donuts. I was on my way to get a pad thai. So I'd already manipulated my day to be allowed a bunch of noodles and sweet stuff so I can have this pad thai. And I quickly just started doing the math. I grabbed my phone and I Googled what the macros were on a Krispy Kreme. And as tempting as it was, I did not want to sacrifice the pad thai for a Krispy Kreme. So I sat down and I had a pad thai. Do you know what I mean? But like it's not cheating, it's flexible dieting. And if you know the math and you know the macros, well then that's when if it fits your macros comes into play. I don't do if it fits your macros every day, But if I want a flex meal, if it fits your macros, is how I flex.
I love it. I think that's why it's so important to know your numbers, even just your basic numbers, your protein intake, especially kind of how much carbs you're eating that day and fat. So you can kind of just be in the ballpark in terms of your calorie consumption every day so that you can flex whenever, the opportunity arises in your day-to-day routine.
And the opportunity arises every single week. Let's be honest. Like weekends happen, people want to hang out. I've got a rule where I've been a weirdo before in fitness where like I'll avoid social functions. I'll avoid eating out and I'm eating out of a tray, being a freaking weird human being. I mean, you show up to a restaurant, eat out of a tray. You're a freaking weirdo if you do that. Yeah. And I got a rule, never be the weirdo. So you need to have just the knowledge base so you can show up to a restaurant, you look at the menu beforehand, make your decisions and enjoy social activity without being weird.
For sure. Talk to me about that, Curtis. What's your take on eating out? How does somebody eat out responsibly, in your opinion?
Oh, man. Plan ahead. Like, look at the menu. And I think most people in the beginning stages, like I've got a fitness community on Facebook called the Lean Gainers. So most people there, they're fairly new and they will plug in. They're like, hey, I've got a date or I've got a social activity. Here's what I'm doing. And then they'll post the menu and everyone kind of helps them work through it and do some calculations. It's cool to see everyone helping out because it helps them talk their way through it because they're new. So if you're new, you should be talking your way through it with somebody, but you want to get your protein first of all, and then you want to manage your energy macros and not go over the top because most stuff on the menu is going to be over the top. You can't just order a salad and think you're going to do it because most salads are higher calorie than ordering the steak and veg.
So true. You mentioned something there, Curtis, that isn't talked about enough, which is community, having a community that you can ask questions and, keep you accountable, keep you motivated. Talk to me about the importance of community in people's journey.
Like you and me get it. Like we were at above all those training days, like where we had a killer community. And remember we had the 1 o'clock vibe and the community at 1 p.m. Like you would sacrifice much of other things in your life to show up at 1 o'clock because it was so damn much fun to train. And even if you didn't want to train hard, you ended up getting a killer workout. Like community, that's why people show up, get killer results in these micro gyms and stay for the next 3 years, no results because they're in love with the community. Now they're doing a ton of great for their health, but if they want to transform, they do need something different or they need evolution to their programming, which is why like I've got my fitness community. Without it, my people would get like subpar results. And with it, because they're able to share their successes and get celebrated, talk about their struggles and get help and ideas, that people just kick. Like the transformations are unreal. Community is absolutely essential. We are a gregarious species. We need to be around people. We live in packs. That's how we are. Yeah.
Totally agree. I think that it's a key component that does not get talked about enough in people's journey. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Talk to me about the importance of strength training when it comes to losing weight. And talk to me about that.
If you fill out my client application and you put on it, I do not want to strength train, I may not even respond. It is the base of everything we're going to do. You need to, first of all, learn good form. And once you've got good form, you need to challenge your form with weight. I don't care if you become super strong. I care that you're challenging good human movement with weight because it's going to stimulate better hormones. It's going to stimulate more muscle definition, and it's going to stimulate more satellite cells to grow new muscle fibers. Without strength training, you're going to be spinning your tires in a constant state of plateau. Strength training is the base of everything we do. I am running a strength phase in every phase I ever run. Like I never leave my strength. I might back off a little bit, but I'm always focused on being strong. And you and I get it because we've both been extremely strong human beings at different points in our lives. But maybe that's a topic for another day.
For sure. I always like to say that muscle is the great equalizer. You want to talk about how to become a fat burning machine? Build some muscle.
Like it uses it for energy. Like,
Absolutely. Muscle is the mechanism of health. It's your metabolic currency. The more you have, and I'm going to just plug in Curtis's shameless picture here, but just look at his physique, you guys. This is how he's been able to have a lot of success over the years and how he's able to get these amazing transformations with all his clients. Speaking of transformations, Curtis, I was actually just doing some research on this. About 42% of US adults say that they gained weight during this public health problem. And the average weight gain is 29 pounds. Okay, 29 pounds on average. You and your clients seem to be ignoring this trend and you guys are just crushing it. What's one thing? Give me one thing that somebody can do right now, sitting at home watching this, that can start moving that needle in the right direction.
diet, change your food. I hear this one statement a lot. I think this speaks on it. If you kind of like use your mind in a broad way, people say that when they eat out, they get the burger or the fries because they want to get their dollars worth of the food. And I'm like, so you're paying more because you think the value comes in the crap that you get? Why not spend more on the thing that is going to give you more nutrition? Do you know what I mean? Like, steak, veggies cost more, and it's gonna make you look better and feel better and thrive better in life. Like, does that make sense? Like, people's idea on nutrition is so far off, where people make dates with food. Like, if you're like a single human being, you live alone, all week you're thinking about the pizza you're gonna have a date with on Friday. Like, that's weird. That's weird thinking to me, that you're gonna make a date with food. Have a date with a human being. And maybe make that date. Yeah, you're going to go have dinner, but don't have the dinner as like the thing you're doing. Have the conversation as the thing you're doing. Seek out conversations, seek out connections. Don't seek out fun with food. Food's there because we need it. We need sustenance. So we're going to break bread together, but we don't need to gorge ourselves to have a good time together. I'd rather talk to you and connect with you and see what your life was like in the last 6 months you're down in Mexico. Does that make sense? Like, people are just so far off on how they view food.
Absolutely. I think it is a big problem for a lot of people, is that we're so emotionally attached to food. We use food as a form of entertainment. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with grabbing dinner with friends and family on special occasions and whatnot. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of become the centerpiece that we plan everything around. And I feel like there kind of needs to be a gap between those two things.
Yeah. If you celebrate Friday with pizza, like, what did you do this week that needs a celebration? Did you open a business? Did you like level up your business and get some kind of crazy raise, or create like financial stability in some way? Or did you just make it through your Monday to Friday 9 to 5 and you're just happy you survived it, so you get to reward yourself with pizza?
Totally. That's a tough pill for a lot of people. And I'm glad that you brought that up. You've already dropped some incredible knowledge for our audience today. Is there anything that you'd like to add that I haven't asked you about?
Oh, dude, we've covered so much. Honestly, we've been everywhere. The only thing that I can add is simplify your whole approach to this. Like, if you want to change your life, like if you want to have a different outcome, I always tell people to take a look at a picture of themselves, not stand in the mirror, but have a good look at a picture of themselves with their shirt off and decide, is this a human being that happened by accident, or is this a human being that happened with intention? And if you can't honestly tell yourself that I created the human being that I'm looking at, then you need to fucking start changing a lot of lifestyle, okay? And create the environment for yourself to create a human being of intention. Next year at this time, your whole world is going to be different. It happens to us every single year. So you might as well attack the next 12 months with intention. You can be in incredible physical shape. You can be financially better shape. You can be a happier person, and you can be surrounded by better people in 12 months.
Wow.
Intention versus accident.
That's so powerful. I read this quote somewhere that you are one decision away from a completely different life. But step number one is to take responsibility.
Yeah.
I love it. Curtis, if you could go back in time when you were just starting out, what's one piece of advice that you would give to your former self that would save you a lot of pain, grief, troubles, all those things? Give me one piece of advice.
Okay. I spent a lot of years hiding who I was and my past from people because I didn't want to be judged. Okay. Like at the gym, and now I'm in a position where like we've talked about this, where you kind of break free of the mold and you can kind of start doing whatever you want without fear of what the world is, how the world's going to impact you. And it wasn't until I let go of the fear of being judged by people that I actually broke free. Do you know what I mean? I'll tell you my whole story. I don't care. You want to judge me? You're not my people. There are so many people that resonate with it, even if they can't even imagine living the same life. They can resonate with what it takes to become something better. I wish I didn't hide from myself for so long, man. Like, had just owned it. Like, this is me. This is what I went through. And this is me doing everything in my power to fix it. Right? The last 2 years, I think have been, but you know me, man. You know, the last 2 years has just been better. You too. We've been together for so long, bro.
You're crushing it. You're crushing it. That's so powerful, Curtis. I love that you said that, because don't worry about what other people think of you. Most people don't even like themselves. So why worry about them?
True statement. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Most
people struggle to create their own happiness. 100%.
You know, so don't worry about what other people are doing. Just focus on you.
100%.
Curtis, thanks again for coming on the show today. If people want to connect with you, where can people find more about you?
Coach Curtis Fitness, Instagram, Curtis Laughren on Facebook, Coach Curtis Fitness on TikTok. There is a link in every bio to my application. But honestly, just drop me a DM and have a conversation with me, because I work with very specific people. I work with people who aren't just ready for change, but desire it, but have that ability, are ready to flip that switch, because I'm a results getter. And so I love to connect with people before we even approach that path. Do you know what I mean? We got a vibe, and if we got a good vibe back and forth, like, I am going to support the hell out of you. All right.
I love it. Curtis, let's do this again soon.
Let's do it, man.
The next question then becomes, how and what are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. This is also where a lot of people go wrong. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I was finally able to get rid of all my stubborn fat without depriving myself of my favorite foods or spending countless hours doing cardio. It's a simple and proven 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals like you, and it's also the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. Hey, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week, and feel free to comment below if you have any questions about this video. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Virtual high five.